I just went to my local record store and I picked up a few things, so sit back as I share what I picked up. I know it wasn't that long ago since the last time I did a finds video, but I did community posts, and I've said it before, but I have school and I have work, and so all that's kind of going to take away some of my time to record. But you know, every once in a while I hope to get more videos out at some points, but of course I'm going to take my time as usual, so hopefully you'll stick around for that. So what we have inside this bag is 4 CDs and 4 vinyl records, so pretty good balance, I must say. So of course, if you like these finds videos, please give this a like, subscribe if you are new, and now let's begin. Like usual, I'm going to start with the CDs first, and then we'll move on to the vinyl. This first one, I was actually kind of surprised to find. It was kind of the last thing I would expect. But what I have here is called Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs by Marty Robbins. And by the way, this is not the original cover. I'll showcase the original right here. And you can see much classier than whatever the heck this is. This looks like a very bad, it's kind of bad, I will be honest. But the music itself is actually very good. Of course, this is the original album that released back in 1959. And the reason why I wanted this was because it has the big song Big Iron. And I actually know that song because it was actually used in a video game I played a lot. It was called Fallout New Vegas, just surviving a post-apocalyptic future in the desert. And Big Iron was this part of the soundtrack because you can play a radio and it would play a bunch of different songs. And Big Iron was the one that gets played, at least the most notable one that gets played a lot. And so yeah, just had to find it here, and it's in pretty good condition. I was actually listening to this on the drive home with my brother, and so yeah, it was very cool. The booklet's kinda nothing. It's one of those types of things, but you know, it is what it is. But overall, very, very happy to find this album here. Next up, we have Garth Brooks, The Chase. So yeah, kind of surprising, I must say. I've said this before, but I'm not the hugest country fan, but I do like some of it every once in a while. And I thought, might as well check out Garth Brooks, because a little funny story. So in our garage, there was actually a ton of CDs that were kind of buried, and so I kind of looked through them. There's a lot I didn't care for, so most of them are going to be turned into like spare cases just in case. And one of the CDs that was there was this album right here, which I will get. It was Garth Brooks's No Fences, and you know, kind of got me interested. I'm not going to say my in-depth thoughts on it, but I was kind of impressed. And so in the record store, I saw this one and like, might as well give another one a go. And it was only for $1 too, so it's pretty cheap. And I think it's actually good to find Garth Brooks, and that's because if you haven't known this already, but it's almost impossible to find his music. It's not on Spotify, so you really would have to go out and find the CD. But you know, for $1, so there you go. Pretty straightforward there. So we'll see how I feel on that one, because I did like that Garth Brooks album. I did like it quite a bit, so we'll see how I feel about this one. Up next, here is some more Tom Petty. And this is the debut, I believe. So pretty cool to find this one. It was a bit more on the pricier side, as you can see, but you know, definitely wanted to get it because it has some pretty notable songs. I think the most notable one that usually gets played a lot is American Girl. And the rest I'm pretty sure I haven't heard before. So definitely curious to find out what Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers sounded like, you know, when they first started out. And I've enjoyed a lot of his music, of course. He has a nice voice, great guitar playing by Mike Campbell. I almost said Mick there, but regardless, and I do kind of like that logo too. That's kind of cool. You got a guitar through the heart. That rhymed actually. But yeah, there we go. So Tom Petty Heartbreakers, self-titled. And then the last CD I have is actually an artist I've known for quite some time, but I have never heard a single song from him. and I know he gets brought up a lot every once in a while. And the artist in question is Elvis Castello. And this is, I believe, his debut album, and it's called My Aim Is True. Again, I pretty much said it already, but I hear his name get brought up, but never once thought about giving it a try. But, you know, might as well start now. Because again, I hear good things about him. And I did a couple, and I looked it up on Wikipedia on my phone as I'm coming home, and that this is kind of somewhat new wave, a bit of punk, a little pub rock sort of sound. So I don't know how it's gonna sound. I don't know what his voice will be like, but it'll be a nice little discovery. So I'll let you know how I feel about it at the end of the month. So very good. And thus, that is all the CDs I have picked up. So now let's move on to the records. So the first record I'm going to show is actually a Christmas album, and depending on how you look at it, either I bought it late or I got it way too early. Regardless, this is a pretty big one, and it's the Beach Boys' Christmas album. So, yep, definitely wanted to get this because I've always liked the Beach Boys, and of course I know the song Little Saint Nick, and so I really wanted to have it. I could have got it on CD first, but I saw it there. It's a pretty good price, pretty decent price, and I was like, might as well. I'll get it on record first. I mean, it's not the first time I got a Beach Boys album before I got the CD version. But you know, there's a lot of other notable songs. You have, I already said Little Saint Nick, but we also have Frosty the Snowman, Blue's Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, White Christmas, and a lot more things here. I do like the back cover. I do like the picture of the band there, and there's like printed on signatures by each of them. I think that's kind of nice. But there we go. Great find here. Following that up, we're still in the 60s here, and we have the Mamas and the Papas with their self-titled album. This is their second album, and I think it's a very strong follow-up. I think this is pretty underrated. I love the debut. I still think the debut is my favorite, but this is pretty close. This one really grew on me. And of course, me and Nick from Townsend's 505, we did a whole series on the Mamas and the Papas, and I said a lot of good things about this particular one here. Songs like No Salt on Her Tail, Trip, Stumble and Fall, Dancing Bear, their cover of Dancing in the Streets, pretty good. There was a big hit on here, I Saw Her Again, and I really enjoy the song Even If I Could. I think it's a very great, underrated song. And of course, the album cover is pretty good too, nice photo of them. Of course, there's actually two versions of this. There's I already forgot her name, but I think it was Jill something. She was dating Lou Adler, the producer. And there is versions of her because I know Michelle was fired briefly, and they literally just slapped Jill on top of Michelle. It's kind of interesting. I heard that's very rare though, so oh well, I'm fine. But yeah, other than that, very good find as well. And then we head over to the 70s now, and this is a pretty good find, I must say. And we have another Styx album, and that is Pieces of Eight. This is probably my second favorite Styx album. Of course, Grand Illusion, of course, that's going to be number one. But this is pretty close. There's a ton of great stuff on here. I mean, you have Great White Hope, I'm Okay, Sing for the Day. Side 2, you have some pretty big songs. You have Blue Collar Man, and then you have Renegade. And then one of my favorite Styx songs is actually a deep cut on here. It's called Queen of Spades. I think that's a very good hard rock number. I think Dennis's vocals on here are just killer. And of course, I really wanted to get this is because it actually came with the original poster, which is pretty cool. I think that's the first time I bought a used record and it actually came with the poster. So very happy. You'll probably see the B-roll right now. Very happy about it, so definitely wanted to get this one. So really good stuff, of course. And again, Styx is I think a lot of people underrate Styx, honestly, but absolutely love them. And now we come to the crowning jewel, pun intended, because the next one is by Queen, of course, my beloved band. And of course, I have Jazz. This is their 7th studio album, and if I'm not mistaken, I now own every 70s Queen album on record. So I'm getting there. Again, my goal is to try and get all the records on vinyl. So we're getting there. Now I need to start the 80s one. But yeah, this is a great one here. I think it's another very underrated album in their catalog. So many great songs. I mean, you have big songs like, of course, Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race, and then Don't Stop Me Now, of course. But the deep cuts on here are very strong. Like, of course, you have Jealousy, If You Can't Beat Them. In Only 7 Days is beautiful. Leaving Home Ain't Easy is another nice little Brian May song. But yeah, absolutely really good here. And I do like that the word jazz is actually embossed, so there's like a texture to it, which is very cool. But yeah, the only downside is that it does not come with the original poster. If you know the poster, then you know, but it doesn't come with it, so I'm a little disappointed in that, but it's whatever. There's actually one thing I want to point out, and that is, and I'm going to do it here, because I got to take it out of the sleeve here, so I want you to notice if something is off. So this is the sleeve it was in, and then I want you to look at it and see if you can figure out what is wrong here. So let's see, let's try this side. So we're going very slow here. If you haven't guessed, I'll give you 5 more seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So this inner sleeve is actually from John Lennon's Double Fantasy, because you have Starting Over, Kiss Kiss Kiss, let's see what else, Beautiful Boy, of course Woman. So for some reason, whoever owned this previously, I guess they lost the original inner sleeve, and so they just stuck the record in this Double Fantasy one. So kind of weird, kind of funny. I'm not too disappointed, but I just wanted to throw that out there because that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there about this particular one I got here. But other than that, still really good album. I mean, Queen, of course, so of course I'm gonna love them. But there we go. And so to briefly recap, we have Jazz by Queen, then we have Pieces of 8 by Styx, the Mamas and the Papas with their self-titled second album, and then we have the Beach Boys Christmas album. And now we move back to the CDs. We have Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with their debut. Then we have Marty Robbins, Gunfighter ballads and trail songs. Elvis Castello, My Aim Is True. And then finally we have Garth Brooks, The Chase. So there you have it. That's all the stuff I picked up at my record store recently. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.